Hey guys, welcome back. We have another Diablo 4 video for you. It's been 7 weeks since Diablo 4 has been announced at BlizzCon. I have no crazy updates for you, no developer updates for everybody out there watching. I do have a personal feedback video that I always wanted to make as in these prior weeks from the Diablo 4 announcement, since we've gathered so much information on Reddit from other famous YouTubers that are following Diablo religiously. So I want to take time today to make a video on my personal feedback for the Blizzard developers. So I want to first talk about Flash on Hit. So Flash on Hit is something that we see in Diablo 4 in the gameplay, that every time you hit an enemy, a white flash emits. And that's every single hit. So when you hit an enemy, a big flash of white for no reason hits. And why? Well, there is a reason. Is because Blizzard wants you to see which enemy that you are actually attacking. So I still think this is unnecessary, because there is a health bar above, usually above enemies, to describe that already for you. So I don't think it's necessary to have in the game. I think it breaks immersion. I don't think it fits in that dark fantasy world. So I think we should just get rid of it, or even have an option to turn on or off. And I was looking at some of the Reddit comments that some people suggested that, hey, let's put this as an option even Diablo 3. Because I believe, yes, Diablo 3 also has this flash on hit, and it's distracting. So I believe they should test it in Diablo 3, where you can at least turn it off and see what the feedback is from that. So that's probably my biggest gripe on Diablo 4. What I've seen is the flash on hit. In my opinion, just get rid of it. Take it away. Nobody wants it. A lot of complaints on Reddit, the forums. So let's get into my next feedback for Diablo 4. So, like I said in my prior videos, I'm a little Diablo 2 biased. So that means that when I started off in Diablo 2, and you started off low level, and you're going through maybe cold plains, and there's a heap of load of enemies trying to attack you. And the amp and difficulty in the cold plains kind of rose a little bit from the Den of Evil, which is the beginning of the game. So as they hit you, you kind of get jerked back a little bit. So like anything, if you, in real life, if someone would hit you with a baseball bat, you're going to be like, ow, that hurts. And you're going to be taking a stutter step back. So I noticed in Diablo 4 gameplay that while you're running through the mobs and they hit you, you keep running. There's no like stutter back, which was in Diablo 2. And this prevented you kind of doing what you wanted and running around mobs while they're hitting you, and you not initiating any of that reaction of damage. So I noticed that in Diablo 4 gameplay. I didn't like it. I think they should reiterate back to Diablo 2 with that stutter hit, so you don't freely go into any of the mobs that you want to go. So I think they should revisit that. I think they should add that stutter damage knockback effect, so you can't go freely. And it just makes the game just a little bit tiny more difficult, but it also promotes the realism of Diablo 4. So that was another big thing for me. It's just too easy to get away. I don't like that. So if you were running away from a mob of people in real life, and they were throwing rocks at you, it's going to hurt you. You're going to slow down a little bit. So that's what I'm trying to get at. That was my second point. Let's move on to the third point. Going back to Reddit again, I saw that there was a panel in Diablo 4 that I missed, that apparently they want to give away free sets, kind of like the beginning of season Diablo 3, that they will give a free set out just to try it out, what you think about it. It wasn't crazy, but it did have some effects. I personally don't like that. I think that please don't give out free loot. The game of Diablo is meant to find the loot, not to hand feed you loot. I think that destroys the concept of the game entirely. So please, if anybody's watching, Blizzard developers, people who want this game to be good, giving free loot out is just not the way to go. Now I understand that maybe as the game goes on and seasons come out that they will give out free sets to people who can't play as much. Okay, let's try to find a compromise here. So I understand as I grow older, your job gets in the way, your work gets in the way. You don't have time, as much time as you had as a kid to play the game. I get that. Let's compromise. Let's say they do give a free set out, but have the option, hey, I can deny it for maybe an extra 25-30% magic find bonus for the next 2 weeks or something. This way, the people who want the free sets now, they get it. But the people who want to actually find the better stuff might get it a little faster than the people who accepted that. I think that might be a good compromise for that situation. Let's move on. Let's move on to Runewords. So Runewords in their current state, they look a little boring to me. I'm glad they're bringing it back. They're bringing back Runewords. That's great. I'm happy about that, believe me. But it looks a little boring. So let me explain to you what the Runewords are about. Now you can only combine 2 of them, as far as I know, 2 at a time, which goes, I think in Diablo 2 there was like you can combine 6 at a time or 5 at a time. I forget what the max was. But in this game, let me give you an example of what Diablo 4 has to provide for Runewords. So you can what's called a condition and an effect rune, and you have to combine these to make the actual affix happen. So say you have an Eth rune and a Soul rune. An Eth is the condition. So the condition of the Eth is every 3 seconds, without moving, you activate the Soul rune, which is the effect rune. So you activate something like you gain a random shrine effect for however many several seconds or something like that. So that's how they work currently. Now, in my opinion, I like to have them go back to the Diablo 2 style of Runewords. There's more involved with it. They're trying to streamline it. They're trying to make things easy, which I get. I understand you want to appease to everybody. But I think with Runewords, they're meant to be more difficult. They're meant to be more customizable. And I hope they expand on this in the future. So let's move on to what I mentioned in my past video as far as inventory. In Diablo 4, there's single space inventory where no matter how big my armor, how big my weapon, it's always going to be taking up one space in inventory. I don't like that. Let's just continue going to the Diablo 2, Diablo 3 way of doing the inventory. If there's a chest armor, it usually takes up 6 pieces. A weapon, a sword, 4 pieces or 6 pieces. A belt, I think it took up 3 or 4 spaces. A ring, 1 space. Gem, 1 space. Rune, 1 space. Yada, 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 and so forth. Let's continue with that. Why? Because it adds another layer to the game. It makes you think about what's my next move. What do I have to get rid of, or do I have to go back to town to put this stuff in my stash or sell this stuff? You want to have that break in between gameplay so you can manage your items. Adds a layer to the game. My last feedback I have for Blizzard is the potions, and some people aren't going to agree with me, and that's fine. We're here to get the most constructive feedback we can. Potions. let's go back to Diablo 3. Potions were limited to one potion you had, and it was on a cooldown timer. The potion, it was either, I think it was almost either instant, or it was very quickly you regenerated that health that you lost when you popped the potion. So plus you had little globes of health on the ground when you killed enemies at times, which would regenerate your HP as well, or your mana. So I wasn't a big fan of that. Okay. Diablo 2, I liked how once again, you managed your potions. You put them in your belt. Your belt gave you a certain amount of inventory space for specifically your potions. It continuously added another layer to the game that you had to micromanage, which I like that. I prefer that. Once again, going back to the inventory, and then going back to the potions, it adds another layer to the game. So I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. That is my personal feedback. I'm probably going to make another video down the line as we get the developer feedback for us. So continue to watch. I'm going to keep making Diablo videos as updates come, as I get new feedback I think I need to tell you guys about. Let me know what you guys think about the feedback. Leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Adios.